Guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another Starcraft 2 replay for you guys. Once again, we have a strong engagement, a strong international engagement in between the two pro players from the Starcraft 2 scene. Let me just start by introducing the players to you guys as we are spawning here. In the upper left, in the red, it is BYUN from South Korea, and his opponent spawning here. In the lower right, in the blue, it is SERRAL from Finland, the world champion. So yeah, quite an interesting game. The world champion versus one of the most talented Terrans, especially when it comes to micro. He's of course known for his marine micro and his medivacs gameplay with tanks and so on. So let's just see what exactly is going to happen here as they're spawning on Curious Minds. Let's just check their build orders really quick, as I'm already seeing here BYUN opening up with his supply depot and his barracks. So pretty standard open up, and the same can be said here for SERRAL. As you can see in the minimap, he's opening up pretty standard with his fast expansion. So no intentions for him to go into a spawning pool and gas. Trade forward the normal build orders here for both players, as the overload is also moving out here for SERRAL. Of course, exploring the map, searching those proxy barracks. But yeah, no such thing here from BYUN, as we are of course on Curious Mind. A very interesting map here with some fabric looking like interesting placements here in the middle of the map. So let's just see what the next steps are going to be. We have a refinery here for BYUN, so he might try this Reaper attack really soon against SERRAL, but no, actually he's opting to go for a reactor. So we might see some infantry really soon here by BYUN, so no intentions for him to harass the Zerg. He's going straight into reactor and then going for his fast expansion. SERRAL also might try to go for his second fast expansion around the 2-minute and 30 or 2-minute and 40-second mark, just like all the Zergs do. And yeah, spawning pool is about to finish, gas is up, but a pretty standard open up. Some drones get transferred, and yeah, like I told you, around the 2-minute and 40-second mark, I believe he would expand here or here into this location. Now let's just check BYUN really quick as he's continuing here with his factory. He might also add a starport really soon. Of course, many Terrans really like to go for that starport just to have that support for their infantry versus the opponents. And this overload of course is very important here for SERRAL, as he should be able to scout the next proximity here for BYUN, for what exactly he's going, what his build order, his next build order is going to be here. It's going to be a starport, or perhaps another expansion is also an option here for the Terran. Now yeah, the first infantry is out on the map. SERRAL has indeed taken this expansion. Let's check his main really quick. Just a couple of drones are being produced. Of course, drones early on really strong against any early harassment. And yeah, let's see when exactly BYUN is going to decide to attack, as he has sniped tier 1 Zerg, so he's moving out, just checking the proximity. And yeah, he might try to add more and more units really quick. Perhaps some Hellions would be interesting to see. And he's going for his starport indeed. So this overload here really soon is going to launch perhaps a scouting mission here towards BYUN. Let's see, BYUN just currently patrolling the map, trying to snipe one Zergling or two. He's already at 6 Marines, so he's moving out on the map here towards SERRAL, and let's see how SERRAL is going to react to that. Some units are out on the map. His creep spread is pretty good. The Zerglings are also roaming around, and the first overload is about to get sniped. 6 Marines indeed here. Let's see how SERRAL is going to react here. He has some queens of course on the ground. He will have the high ground here into this ledge, and yes, some Zerglings do push here forward, but we already have 8 Marines, so BYUN might even try to add a SCV or two. Perhaps it's going to be a bunker attack. Let's see what exactly is going to happen. Currently he's just roaming around the 4-minute mark with his Marines showing his presence. Let's check his main once again. Factory into starport indeed, so pretty standard stuff, and one bench is being produced. So we might see BYUN harassing SERRAL really quick here. Does SERRAL has some spores? I don't see a spore here, none of it here. So yeah, no spores for SERRAL. He might be in trouble against this one Banshee really soon. Yeah, there it is, there's this one Banshee. Banshee early on is of course very strong against the Zerg. And yeah, so many Marines on the ground, so BYUN might try to attack on 2 fronts here with his Marines and then with his Banshee against the mineral line from SERRAL. Let's see if this is going to happen. Let's check what SERRAL is building. Another extractor. Of course, you can see the production tab in the upper left part. He has a roach one, so there are those roaches being produced. And yeah, just BYUN just roaming around, not attacking, just sniping this one overload. Only this one Banshee with cloak is being done, so the Spore has to finish really soon here for SERRAL, as some workers will very likely fall. So nice micro here by BYUN with this one Banshee, but he has to of course retreat as the Spore has been done, and into this location there is also Spore, so pretty good harassment. 2 kills for this one Banshee, but yeah, great hold in the end by SERRAL, only losing those 2 drones, and that Spore timing was also very nicely done. So let's see, some tanks are being added, so we might see a timing push really soon by BYUN versus SERRAL. The more and more creep eggs are being spreaded, a nice number of roaches here by SERRAL, but yeah, SERRAL not being very aggressive, not being very abusive, just holds his ground, not sending out wave after wave of Zergling, plays it very defensively, allowing BYUN of course to do the first steps here into this game. And we even see a double Banshee attack now here by BYUN. So yeah, remember, 2 Banshees can one-shot a drone. Let's see if this is going to happen here. Some Zerglings to scout this out, so the Queens will of course be relocated, as SERRAL might try to take his 3rd expansion point very soon. But in come the cloaked Banshees. There is a Spore here. Let's see, he's sniping 2 workers already really quick. He might even snipe 1 Queen. The Queen can heal each other, but SERRAL with a small mistake there, just not microing those Queens. So 3 workers and 1 Queen, even 2 Queens have been sniped now. So BYUN showing us the strengths early on of those Banshees, dealing so much damage here against SERRAL. So the world champion pretty much under pressure very early on, as he's just roaming around here, and he might try to prepare an attack really quick with his Ravagers, with his Roaches towards BYUN. BYUN also taking here his expansion, tank is up, so great harassment here. Perhaps many Terrans will very likely go into more and more Banshees. Mass Banshees could be really deadly against Zerg, just sniping so many workers. And even 2 Queens have been killed, so 7 kills here, 2 kills onto this one. Quite a strong force to have early on against Zerg as a Terran. Same time Stim is being done, so BYUN once again preparing an attack, leaves here his Banshee, and yet the Stim Marines are moving forward with their Medivacs in the back, sniping those creep eggs. So once again SERRAL on the defense. At the same time he has nicely positioned those units here, just sniping Zergling after Zergling, so quite a nice job securing here his expansion, having vision. And now SERRAL is pretty much pushing him back with those Queens. At the same time BYUN's task force is here, ready to attack with 2 Marines, or 2 Medivacs and lots of Marines. Of course the Volin is also going to be prepared here for BYUN against those Banelings, against the Zerglings, and yet the tank is also here to secure the position. And what exactly are those? Oh, the civvies are repairing the Banshees, so now I see it. So BYUN giving of course importance towards those Banshees against SERRAL, and let's see what exactly the next steps are going to be. SERRAL actually taking his upper right part here of the map, going into more and more Ravagers, so we might see a timing push here by him before the 10-minute mark. He's going really heavily into those Ravagers and Roaches. BYUN of course tries to scare him away with this with those Medivacs, with the Marines, tries to keep him at home. I believe SERRAL slowly more and more is pushing out, even has some Infestors now, so some Fungals might be added and some mind control could be used, but I guess he's just waiting for a number of Zerglings, stronger number of Zerglings. And hold on, we actually see an attack now. SERRAL on the defense, BYUN just microing those Marines in and out of danger, and he's very likely going to retreat a little bit. He will of course a stronger tank count against those Roaches and Ravagers. SERRAL still playing very passively here versus BYUN. So BYUN now also decides to stay in a more defensive position. He's also preparing his macro game, he's expanding as well, so really very much calculated game as more and more infantry and more tanks are being added here by the player from South Korea. He's also creating a nice beeline here to defend, but at the same time he seems to be confident to move out. This is a nice choke point here for him, so in case SERRAL would have attacked, those siege tanks would have dealt of course so much splash damage. This is why exactly SERRAL tries to find a better position, going to snipe a couple of Marines here. But hold on, we actually see a quite quick drop here by BYUN, sniping 7 workers, and he might even try to stim up here and snipe this first hatchery. So nice engagement here by him. Great job by him, taking out the hatchery, even the extractor, and he might even take out this other extractor here. So very nicely done. SERRAL very much under pressure. He is trying, of course, to snipe those marines, but yeah, he was so far out away of the map. So the first blood goes here towards BYUN. As BYUN, of course, is now feeling really confident. The siege tanks will get some great connections here, but in come the Ravagers with the fireballs against those tanks. I mean, this is quite a great choke point here for the Terran. At the same time, the medivacs are still keeping SERRAL here at home. And let's see if if BYUN is going to try to slowly but steadily push here forward. He is maxed out, he has the advantage now in the game. And yeah, SERRAL very much under pressure here. He has those lurkers now. So lurker is going to be the response here by SERRAL versus that really heavy marine and tank count by BYUN. He has so many lurkers. A nice beeline being created here as well for SERRAL, and let's see how exactly this is going to unfold. One tank has been snapped here nicely. The marines do pull here forward. Great scan, so the marines will take out so many lurkers, but at the same time a nice fungal here being used by SERRAL, and so much damage is being taken left and right. So nice jobs in the end. BYUN still holds his ground and he's pushing more and more forward against SERRAL. At the same time, his medivacs do drop some units here, but the real action is happening here, of course. At the same time, SERRAL has to defend the two fronts here. Nice job by him finally taking out the medivacs. But in the end, he did lose two hatcheries. This one is being rebuilt. Some workers have fallen here as well, and this hatchery has fallen as well. So, like I told you, SERRAL pretty much under great pressure here by BYUN. And yeah, those tanks are really nicely positioned. Finally, the Ravagers will take care of some. The medivacs almost getting killed by those fireballs. More and more damage is now being taken by BYUN as SERRAL finally is able to push this back with his Ravagers and Roaches. But yeah, especially with those Ravagers with the long distance fireballs against the tanks. So things have settled down, both players are regrouping, and yeah, more and more will be added. The army from SERRAL all of a sudden much higher here than BYUN worker wise, but BYUN having more workers than SERRAL. But yeah, things might change really soon as BYUN is still not going to stop here. It's going to send out more and more units towards SERRAL. And yeah, those tanks are of course really important. They need to be defended, they need to be hidden in the back, and yeah, more and more damage is not going to be taken. SERRAL has borrowed those lurkers, but BYUN just keeps pushing forward, tries to find a good position for his tanks. SERRAL perhaps tries to come in from the back just to surround BYUN here. BYUN knows this, of course, leaves those tanks in the back, infantry is in the front. But yeah, SERRAL just keeps here pushing forward, and it's actually against an expansion point. So one command center has been sniped, the second one as well. Tank has been sniped here as well, and so much damage is being taken by this one planetary fortress. But the SCV is also nicely repairing it. In the end, it's going to get sniped. So many workers will fall here as well for BYUN. So SERRAL with a quite strong push, but at the same time he's going to lose his army in the end. However, the economic damage has been done. 22, 23 workers, even more will fall here. And look at that, those small units are still tanking here. So BYUN dropping to 60 workers. At the same time, now BYUN of course has to respond, attacking here this hatchery. At the same time, a great fungal being used by the world champion, and those lurkers really getting some great connections. So yeah, in the end, quite a fair trade as both players have fallen here under 60 workers army wise at the same army count. So still anyone's game, quite interesting game here we have in between SERRAL and BYUN. There are more and more scans to go out. 13 workers have been killed here versus BYUN, so BYUN taking quite some strong economic damage here, as he also has to rebuild those command centers really quickly here. At the same time, those tanks getting some good connections. 8, 9 kills into this one, 3 into this one. So nice map to hide those tanks behind the walls. Yeah, let's see. SERRAL on the defense once again. At the same time, he's also preparing a move, another move out here. This time with lurkers and roaches. No more Ravagers for him. He might try to upgrade some roaches into Ravagers. Just some tanks helping here out, but we do have some ghosts now on the ground. So ghost is going to be here the answer, of course. For many Terrans, like Maru has shown us into this channel, ghosts are really strong, especially into sniping those lurkers, those Ravagers. So quite a strong unit to have, just trading mana for those kills. And yeah, SERRAL has calmed down a little bit. He's staying more back, actually preparing here a Nidus network versus BYUN. So let's see where exactly this is going to be used. And yeah, BYUN also holds his ground here. As in comes the attack, Serral is not going to allow this small chunk one to survive. He's moving forward with Blinding Clouds, so he has Vipers with Blinding Clouds. Nicely done by him. Those tanks are pretty much useless now as he's being able to clear this out. So great job here by Serral, taking out quite a strong chunk of those tanks. And yeah, we've passed the 15-minute mark. We're closing very likely very fast to the 20-minute mark. So still anyone's game, like I told you. Sadly here for BYUN, he has lost quite some valuable units. Those tanks were very good for him. Maybe it would have been better after watching this replay to hide the tanks in the back. And hold on, we actually see some sniping going on. So yeah, this is the specialty for those ghosts. But the lurkers do pull here forward. A nice surround here by SERRAL with those Zerglings. But the infantry is also here. And yeah, more and more units are going to get sniped. So nice back and forth game in between the two pro players. Like I told you, still anyone's game. Quite a strong game we have here in between them. As we see finally the Nidus network being done. And are there any units here for BYUN? Of course there are, so he should be able to hold this attack by SERRAL. At the same time, BYUN also moving here forward, but SERRAL is in position to defend. And yeah, the Medivacs will also heal the infantry here for BYUN. BYUN currently much more supply onto army versus SERRAL. Especially those snipers, such a strong force to have. And also EMP can be used, of course, against those Vipers or against those Infestors. So quite interesting game we have here. Still anyone's game. We actually see some Hydras being added, Lurkers, 2 Vipers in the air. And yeah, not that many tanks are still alive here for BYUN. As he's slowly but steadily pushing forward. As he's spreading here his units, nicely securing the zone. As he's able to snipe this one hatchery. So great job. At the same time he's moving forward with his infantry, but the lurkers are in position here by SERRAL. There's even this one infestor, so infestors with fungals, with those lurkers, just to fend off any attack. A quite interesting strategy being used by the world champion. At the same time he's moving out with a strong force of lurkers, so he might try to attack this location, but there are some tanks here to defend as the siege still continues here by BYUN. Let's see, the extractor has been taken out. The snipers once again showing their strengths, going to take out 2 lurkers here. Even some snipers do make it here forward. EMP has been used against the infestors as 3 drones have fallen, but yeah, the real siege is going to go on here, and we are feeling quite confident moving forward with his marauders. The lurkers are in position. There's so much mining time is being delayed here by BYUN, so BYUN nicely doing this here as he's forcing actually SERRAL to come back here to defend. And yeah, slowly but steadily he's just going to push more and more forward here towards SERRAL, but perhaps he needs some splash damage. As yeah, the ghosts once again sniping those lurkers, but in comes SERRAL with his forces. The lurkers are now in a great position. Zerglings have been killed, of course, and we see massive amounts of blinding clouds. I believe SERRAL is going to pretty much commit here forward towards BYUN. He has a good position. The tanks still are now back from the blinding clouds, but yeah, so much damage being taken by them. SERRAL should be able to hold this position and might even inflict more and more damage towards BYUN. But yeah, in come the reinforcements by BYUN, and those units by SERRAL are also pretty low, so great hold, but lots and lots of army has been lost for both sides. And yeah, BYUN regrouping. He might try once again an offensive. He has now a strong force of tanks. Let's see if this is going to happen here against SERRAL really quick. As yeah, SERRAL is going to go now into some banelings, I believe. Yes, indeed, banelings, of course. Great counter towards the infantry as BYUN moves now forward to the upper right part from from SERRAL. As yeah, in come the ghosts once again, sniping those units, sniping the lurkers. And yeah, BYUN, so is Zest coming now in from the flank, but those banelings not really getting any connections. The tanks are also nicely taking out all of the smaller units from the Zerg, so a good position here for BYUN. So once again he's pushing forward against SERRAL. So nice job here by BYUN. SERRAL licking his wounds a little bit. There is that Viper getting more and more energy out of hatchery. And yes, still a very balanced game. Same supply for both players. Who is going to have the better position? By looks of it, BYUN is having the high ground. The lurkers are of course nicely defending, but in come the snipers and they're taking quite some damage. So sadly here for BYUN, he has lost now quite a huge force, huge number of those snipers, so he needs to be more careful. And yeah, let's see if the siege is going to continue here. Some drones are interesting being transferred here. Perhaps a misclick here by SERRAL, so he is going to lose 6 drones. At the same time, he's pushing more and more forward. Those siege tanks in the back, very, very deadly, of course. And I believe SERRAL is going to give up this position. This is why he has transferred the units. At the same time, he's making here his hatchery. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. As more and more units will upfold here forward. And yeah, BYUN also taking this expansion, but just a small group of Zerglings to pull here forward, just to force a little bit of a retreat here by BYUN, sniping 2 workers. So SERRAL just buying some time versus his opponent. BYUN looking like he's going to intercept, so the Zerglings will fall, and at the same time he's moving more and more forward towards his enemy. So quite an interesting game. We've seen once again a Nidus Swarm, and this time the SCVs will actually have to fight here to defend. Let's see if BYUN is going to be ready for this, as SERRAL is going to bring quite a strong force here for perhaps some lurkers, but he does have some more wings to defend, so nice job. But 1 lurker has been brought here, so quite some great splash damage is going to be taken here by BYUN. 3 workers have died, and we even have 1 roach who appears here, so that's abusive job here by SERRAL. At the same time, there's a Nidus Swarm in the upper right bar, so SERRAL wanting to be, of course, more mobile. It's going for a surround maneuver. BYUN not knowing about this Nidus Swarm quite yet, as SERRAL is going to prepare perhaps a very likely surrounding maneuver against his opponent, against BYUN. In comes BYUN with his infantry in the front, but there's so many Zerglings, so many banelings on the ground. The tanks will of course be the saving grace here for BYUN, but not that much of a high number here for him, although he actually has 5, so that's pretty okay. But he needs of course more and more splash damage against those Zerglings, against those banelings. And yes, SERRAL still tries to find a good position for his defense, and at the same time having this 1 worm here. So yeah, let's see what the next step is going to be. When exactly is BYUN perhaps going to try to launch an attack, and SERRAL still plays it defensively, having quite a strong force of banelings now. BYUN just roaming around the map, searching for any other expansions. But yeah, at the same time, SERRAL, like I told you, tries to find a good position. Quite a strong force of Zerglings, banelings and lurkers, so not that many roaches. Is completely transitioned into mass Zerglings with banelings. Leave a great counter against those snipers, against those ghosts. Also so many marauders here for the Terran. Once again, the snipers are inbound, and we might see a strong engagement here in the middle of the map. It looks like SERRAL is going to engage. He has the high ground. Maru is nicely kiting back and forth with a huge fungal, double fungal here against all of those units, and the lurkers have done so much splash damage. So the tactic here from SERRAL is going to work out. The fungals just keeping the Terran trapped, and the lurkers will finish off the infantry, as SERRAL is just pulling more and more forward towards his enemy. The Zerglings are still pretty much alive. The banelings getting some good connections. Lurkers have taken the ramp, so SERRAL all of a sudden, all of the move has pretty much worked out really well, as the production units are now being produced. Sorry, the production buildings are being sniped now here by SERRAL, so nice job here by him. And yeah, fungals with banelings working out here very well. So if you're a Zerg versus a Terran, and look at that, even those Zerglings taking out so much out of the economy here for BYUN. BYUN struggling really strong. He has dropped 219 workers, as yeah, the fungal and banelings tactic seems to have been working out very well here for the Zerg, but the Terran still has a strong army versus his opponent. The tanks are still pretty much alive. Let's see going to make anything happen, as more and more buildings will fall here. At the same time, BYUN having the high ground still has those ghosts pretty much alive here against SERRAL. So let's see, they're of course looking for some targets. Yeah, the Zerglings and banelings are of course the greatest counter against those ghosts on the ground. EMP nicely going up. Here goes those snipes, and yeah, more and more damage is being taken by both players. There's even this 1 lurker just getting damage. They finally BYUN respawning, taking out this hatchery. And yeah, where exactly is SERRAL mining? Interesting enough, he has borrowed all of those banelings here, perhaps preparing an attack, preparing a surround against BYUN. And I believe both of them are actually not mining, only SERRAL is mining a little bit. So quite an interesting game we still have here. SERRAL is once again under pressure. BYUN not mining, but still having quite a strong force. So SERRAL once again tries of course to prepare a surround. Still has all of those banelings hidden here. He's starting not to attack with those banelings, but he's coming in from the back with the Zerglings. Perhaps he has forgotten about the banelings. Nice blinding clouds. More Zerglings to pull here forward. The snipers Then dealing damage, of course, as much as they can. Nice kiting here, back and forth. And BYUN still in a good position here. SERRAL just tries to keep pushing forward. And yeah, in the end, no, BYUN did GG out. So interesting enough, SERRAL perhaps forgetting about those paintings on the ground here. Would have been, of course, a much better win for him. But yeah, in the end, still being able to overwhelm here BYUN. So both nice game by both players. Great siege throughout the game by BYUN towards his enemy. Those tanks were really strong in the back. The infantry was also very good. But yes, SERRAL has shown us the strengths of those fungals and the lurkers, so it's really hard to execute. Just have to cast fungal and at the same time be really fast with your lurkers. Move them forward towards your enemy and borrow them really quick so that the splash damage will deal as much damage as possible against the infantry. And yeah, of course, a great counter against those snipers as well. And a nice transition from SERRAL. Notice that he didn't continue with Roaches and Ravagers. Yes, straight transition into Zerglings with Banelings. And in the end, that giving him, of course, the victory. So even in the end, he forgot about all of those Banelings, but still was able to manage to win the fight. So great game by both players. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. We'll be seeing you, of course, in the next replays. This is Tommy signing out.